And the reason that we decided to select expense and revenue management today is because most entities know, whether you're in SMB, commercial, enterprise, whatever it segmentation is called, you are managing your expenses. You're managing them daily, you're managing them monthly, and you're managing them quarterly and annually, right? For entities that are private, meaning they're not publicly traded, you're still managing it. And if you are publicly traded, it's even more strenuous on you because you have accountability from a national perspective as well as your shareholder perspective. So you do have to be using some form of analytics to manage that, right, Jeroen? I know you
Yeah,
have that.
it is a topic that is in every organization indeed. Everyone
Ex-
has money coming in and money coming out. So I think it's a great topic to
it
showcase
is.
how you can use Power BI to have an interactive dashboard, because that's what you're gonna build, I assume, or not.
Yes, that's what I'm going to build. Thank you for,
Okay.
just checking and not
Yeah.
assuming. So
Yeah.
if you look at my screen now, and I'm just going to ask the team to just bring it up, this is
Mhm.
what we're building today. We're building a financial report. So we're going to just keep it really simple. We're building a profitability line chart. We're looking at a regional view. And then we're also going to be looking at products by segment. And then we're going to build like a filter. They call it a slicer, right, in Power BI, as well,
Yeah.
to just manage things, because most persons who manage any form of revenue or expense is looking at how it flows from month to month, quarter to quarter. Sometimes you want to see how things are managed during seasons, right? That's very important, especially now because seasonality is slightly different before the pandemic versus now during the pandemic. Yes. So we're
Mhm.
going to start with a blank slate, just like when you're going to paint something. So we're going to start with a blank canvas. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, for those of us who like a little polish with our dashboards, we're going to insert a text box for the heading. So it's really simple, just like when you're using Word or you're using Excel, you want to have a little header, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
this part confused me. I'm going to tell you the truth. I had to go over here to title, then select on, right? So once you select that, then you can insert the title executive, right? Hopefully I spelled that right. Then we're going to say finance report, right? So you can actually just make it bigger if you want, right? You can increase the size. You can change the font color. I'm going to change it to white, and then I'm going to change the background color to blue. So that's
Yeah.
essentially it. Then you can just move this up, really simple, not complex, right? And then if you want to increase the text size, you can keep doing that. And then you can drag this down so you can have that look and feel that you like, right? Nice polish. You know how it go like in school? When you're giving your homework with a folder, you get a sure A plus for effort, right? So you want to make sure that you have no, you trust me, it makes a difference. So you want to make sure that you have that, right? So really simple, and you'll be surprised to see how long it takes to find these things, right? All right. So the
Yeah,
next
and
thing,
Laycya, I find it very good that you start with the title, because I see a lot of dashboards and often the title is missing. What is this page or this dashboard about? What am I looking at? So people often forget it. So it's good that you start with it.
right? Because especially for BI teams that are
Yeah,
building for executives, like no executive wants to look at a dashboard that they don't know,
yeah.
they have
What am I
no
looking at?
context.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you want to make sure that you have that. So the
Yeah,
next thing that we're going to do now is we're going to build this slide. So we're going to build a slide around the profitability and date. Now
yeah.
we had
And
shown
and
you.
you already, because you're right away starting with a lot of data. Where is this? Where could this data be coming from? Because you loaded the data already in Power BI
Right, I
in the
loaded
first
it
step, eh?
already, right? Because remember, we did that last week, so you need to watch last week one to see
Oh,
how we
oh,
loaded the
I will
data,
rewatch
right?
it.
Yes, man, because we don't want to do that now. We're going straight into building it. So the data was loaded already. So now all we're going to do is we're going to drag the data across here and put it in this white section, right? We're going to drag it like that. So you're going to see a list of dates. Remember, everything that you're pulling comes from a table, right? And then you're going to select profit and drag the profit across in the same visual, right? Now, if you notice here, it's still shown as a table because the automatic visual is typically a table. So what you're going to do with the visualization section, you're going to have this same one selected and select line graph, right? Now you notice as soon as you do that, you're good to go. For those of you who would have had experience with using Excel, you would have been used to doing this in a different way. You would have built out a chart, right? So all you're doing is you're dragging. Now I just want to highlight something. When you're dragging the date goes on the axis section. And then when you drag the profit, it goes in the value section. Remember when you used to do graphs in school? You have the date on one axis and you have the profit on the other, so as to have an idea of the values being on the y-axis essentially and the date being on the x-axis. Just kind of keeping it simple, just so that you can understand the purpose of how things flow in terms of the data, right? So cool. We're getting somewhere. We're feeling like a star. We're encouraging ourselves. We are there. So the next thing that we're going to do now is we're going to build the profitability by country. Now, I don't know about you, but when I put a map on a BI, I feel like I feel really smart. So I feel so smart. Like I feel like I can, wow. So, okay, great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select profit first, right? I'm going to select profit first, or we can select country first, whichever. And let's try it. If we get it wrong,
Doesn't
no
matter.
problem.
Yeah.
We just fix it, right? So
you can't, I always tell our participants, you can't break anything in Power BI because the data is somewhere else, right? And you can just play around with it and try things, and let's put that in the axis and let's put that in the values, right? That's the fun thing also about Power BI. It's very
exactly, very easy to
try it
use.
out. Yeah.
So we're going to put country here now, right on top of it, like we did before. And you notice we have a bar chart this time.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have a bar chart, but guess what? We have to do the map thing because we're going to look like a star now, right? So we're going to select map. So that's the map section here. Don't select this one, the filled map. It's going to like fill out everything. I didn't like that look. So select map. And then after that, now look at that. G's and P's. You have your nice circles for each section. And if you zoom in and you go to each country, you can see the bubbles for each country in terms of the revenue or the profit, rather, not revenue, profit, because, we have to focus on the finance terms here. The profit per country. Now, this sample data that I used actually came with data for countries outside of the region. But because of my audience, I preferred to change that. So what I did was I went to the transform data section, which I'm going to go to now, and I actually changed the country columns. I changed the country column. So if you notice here, there were some applied steps. In the video previously, Jeroen had gone through some of this. Now, you can transform the data, and I changed some of the country because some of the countries were the US, Germany, etc. But we're presenting to the region, so I changed some of these fields or columns, or I would say cells, like what we would call it in Excel, but that's not what it's called now. So I went to the column here. It actually said country, and then I changed each of these to countries in the region. So you're able to do that. You can rename right here. You can actually select this and you can select rename. You can replace and rename. So you can rename the entire column name, or you can just select here, replace values, and you can replace each value, right? So I can replace Jamaica and replace it with everything. Now, this is very helpful.
That's a handy tip indeed, because especially with maps, it needs to be recognized by the map, right? So if maybe it said Dutch Antilles, maybe, then it wouldn't recognize it. It wouldn't draw it on the map. So then you say, okay, let's change that to another name, and then I can plot it on the map. And one other additional thing that people should realize, because these are now dots on a map, and you talked a little bit about these field maps. You can go as far as you want, because for one of our customers, for example, we went by postal code, the
Oh,
postal
that's
area,
good.
and you can
That's
also plot
nice.
data. If you have the data available, you can plot that on the map, and then each region has a very green color if the revenue is high, and a very red color maybe if it's very low. So these
That's
maps are
really
also
good.
already, the maps has a lot of possibilities.
That's good. Thanks for that. Because in
Yeah,
Jamaica, for example, we have multiple parishes. We have
yeah,
14. There may be a 15th parish.
yeah, yeah,
And so it would be good for us to see how we can include that. So maybe in the
exactly.
next one, we
And
can
then you can
focus on that.
focus your marketing on that specific area, for example, and because
Exactly, exactly.
handy.
So you see how we can use this and get an idea of profitability by country. As you can see here, according to the data, Trinidad and Tobago is doing better. Then we have, I think this would be Curacao after, then Jamaica, then Puerto Rico, then Bahamas,
Yeah,
according to what we're seeing here. So you can actually change it back to a bar if you
yeah.
want to have a view. Oh, that was the wrong one.
That's
So
the
let
other
me
one.
just
Yeah.
undo that. So
Mhm.
you notice you need to make sure you have the right one clicked, right? So I'm going to click the correct one here so I can change this back to a bar to see what the
Yeah.
actual revenue is. But then you can visualize it here and change it back to the map.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to do the aesthetics after. So let's finish the last visual, which has to do with profitability or profitability by product and segment. Now, if you notice, according to the sample data that we have, this is separated by different industries, different segments. So government, mid-market, small business, enterprise, and channel partners. Yes. So let's go over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to this table here and we're going to drag over. I think let's just clarify what we're dragging over here. We're going to be dragging over sales, right? So
Mhm.
sales right here. And then we're going to put segment across it, yes? So you notice there's a lot of drag and drop, right? So you're able to do that, right? Good stuff. Now, you're gonna add this one has 3 of them that you're dragging across. It's not just segment and sales, you're also dragging across product. And that's how you would end up getting this area here. But do you notice something that has happened, Jeroen? You notice that there's a difference here? So over here, we have the keys in a different way, right?
Hmm.
So you notice that? So over here,
Oh,
we
yeah.
have
Now that you
product.
say it. Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to, and I did that deliberately because I want people to see how we
Mhm.
manage the flow of what we're showing, right? So in the axis section, we have product. In the legend section, we have segment. So see the segment here, that's the legend. Remember that term is used from Excel. That legend term comes from Excel. So let's just use the knowledge that we've had before. And then for the values, we have sales. So let's go over to this new area. In this new area here now, we have it a little different.
Oh,
It's in
yeah.
the axis section that we have the product, that we have the segment rather, right? So we actually need to do a swap, right? You notice that?
Yeah. And how can you do that?
Like how you just asked me.
I'm so
All right.
impatient.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I realize. So
Let's
what
fix
we're
it.
yes, so we're gonna fix it now. So remember, we want to make sure that everybody understands. So what we're
Yeah.
going to do now is we're going to swap segment and product.
Yeah.
So we're going to put product in here. So I'm gonna close this out and I'm gonna drag product to axis,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to put segment in the legend.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
just
you
like
get what you
maybe
need.
people that watch this know about pivot tables also in Excel. It's a little bit like that, eh?
Exactly. Yes, it is.
But now it's only visualized instead of a table. It's a visual. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
we're basically finished the mass of the report.